By the time July arrives, most home gardens are already losing the fight. Tomato flowers drop before they ever set fruit. Lettuce bolts. Spinach turns bitter and disappears. Bell peppers stop producing. The soil cracks. The leaves curl. And the gardener who did everything right in April watches months of work quietly fall apart under a sun that refuses to back down. But not everything in that garden is failing. A few plants, the right plants, are doing the opposite. They're growing faster, producing harder, reaching their peak exactly when everything else gives up. Today, I am going to show you 15 vegetables that don't just survive a brutal summer. They're built for it. And stay with me through the entire countdown, because number 12 will completely change how you think about leafy greens. Number 9 carries 300 years of American history in a single seed. Number 5 fixes your soil while it feeds your family. And number 1 is the crop that defines what summer actually tastes like. If you grow food and you're tired of losing your garden to heat, subscribe now. Let's begin. Number 15. Swiss chard. We start with a plant most gardeners get wrong, and one that quietly outperforms expectations when handled correctly. Swiss chard, scientifically Beta vulgaris, subs P. cicla, is technically a cool season crop. It prefers temperatures between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and it grows best in spring and fall. But here's what most gardeners don't realize. Chard is the only leafy green that will actually keep producing through real summer heat. Spinach bolts above 75 degrees. Lettuce turns bitter. Kale gets tough and infested. But Swiss chard, with consistent watering and afternoon shade, holds. It slows down, yes, but it does not quit. And in zones 3 through 10, that makes it the most reliable summer green you can put in the ground. Variety matters. Luculluses and Fordhook Giant tolerate heat dramatically better than red-stemmed types. Plant in deep, organically rich soil, with a pH between 6 and 7. Harvest the outer leaves, only leave the growing center alone, and a single planting will feed you for months. Number 14. Bush beans. Bush beans are one of the smartest summer crops a beginner can plant and one of the most underused in backyard gardens. Phaseolus vulgaris germinates fastest in warm soil, between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and once established, it fits anywhere. Raised beds, containers, backyard rows. Most varieties go from seed to harvest in 50 to 55 days, which means you can plant a second wave in midsummer for a fall harvest. They handle heat better than most people think. As long as they receive about an inch of water per week and the soil doesn't dry to the point of stress, bush beans will keep producing through 90-degree days. The trick is consistent picking. Leave mature pods on the plant and production stops. Pick every 2 days and the plant keeps flowering. Provider is the most heat-tolerant bush bean for hot climates. Contender is a strong second choice. Number 13. Pole beans. If bush beans are the sprinter, pole beans are the marathon runner. Same species, Phaseolus vulgaris, but a fundamentally different growth habit. Pole beans climb. Given a trellis or pole, a single vine will reach 8 to 10 feet, producing continuously from midsummer through first frost. In hot climates, that's 2 to 3 months of unbroken harvest from one planting. Kentucky Wonder is the most reliable heat performer in the country, and it has been for over a century. Rattlesnake and Blue Lake also handle southern summer well. Pole beans use vertical space, efficiently critical for small backyard gardens. They're also better suited to extreme heat because the climbing habit allows airflow through the plant, which prevents the kind of heat stress that shuts down ground-hugging vegetables. Number 12. Cucumbers. Cucumbers. Cucumis sativus are one of the most popular summer crops planted, and the popularity is earned. They thrive in soil temperatures of 70 degrees and above, and most varieties go from transplant to harvest in 50 to 65 days. In peak heat, established plants produce so aggressively that home gardeners often can't keep up with the harvest. There's one critical caution. Cucumbers shut down above 95 degrees Fahrenheit if soil moisture drops. Inconsistent watering causes bitter fruit. Mulch heavily. Water deeply 2 to 3 times per week, and train the vines vertically. A trellised cucumber plant produces straighter fruit, suffers fewer pest problems, and uses a fraction of the garden space. Marketmore, 76, performs reliably across most of the country. For southern heat, Poinsett 76 is a Clemson-developed variety bred specifically for southeastern conditions. Number 11. Onions. Short-day varieties. This is where regional knowledge separates good gardeners from great ones. Onions Allium cepa are photoperiod sensitive, meaning they bulb based on day length, not just temperature. You need to match the variety to your latitude, or you will get tops with no bulbs. Short-day onions are the answer for hot, southern climates. Varieties like Texas Sweet, Granax, the original Vidalia type, and Yellow Granax begin bulbing when day length reaches about 10 to 12 hours, perfectly timed to mature before peak summer heat. They grow well in zones 7 through 10 and tolerate temperatures into the low 90s during bulb development. Plant in fall or late winter. Harvest in early summer when tops fall over naturally. Cure for 2 weeks in a dry, shaded spot before storing. Done correctly, a single bed of short-day onions feeds a family for months. Number 10. Basil. Basil is the most grown culinary herb in home kitchens, and it has earned that status for one simple reason. It loves heat, the way few other plants do. Ocimum basilicum is a true tropical. It thrives at temperatures between 80 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it actively struggles below 50. This is one of the only plants on this list where summer heat is not just tolerated, it is required. Plant after all danger of frost has passed, and soil temperature is consistently above 70 degrees. Pinch the tops weekly to prevent flowering. Once basil flowers, leaf production drops and the flavor turns sharp. Done right, a single Genovese plant will supply a household with fresh leaves from June through first frost. Companion planting opportunity. Basil grows beautifully alongside peppers, eggplant, and okra. All 4 crops share the same heat preferences and water needs. Number 9. Collard greens. Collard greens are one of the most underrated summer crops and one of the most culturally significant in American food history. Brassica oleracea var. Acephala is the only true leafy brassica that handles real southern summer heat. While kale, cabbage, and broccoli collapse above 80 degrees, collards keep producing through 90+ degree weather, especially when given afternoon shade in Zone 7 and warmer. Georgia Southern is the variety that built collards' heat reputation, bred in the American South specifically for hot, humid conditions. Champion and Vateses also perform reliably. Soil pH between 6.5 and 6.8 is ideal. Harvest the outer leaves, leaving the central rosette intact, and a single plant will produce for 6 months or more. In southern gardens, collards planted in late summer can carry harvest all the way through winter. Number 8. Eggplant. Eggplant is one of the most productive, heat-loving crops in the summer garden and one of the most overlooked. Solanum melongena is a relative of tomatoes, but unlike tomatoes, it does not drop flowers when temperatures rise. According to Clemson Cooperative Extension, eggplant grows best between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, with strong production continuing well into the 90s. Soil pH should fall between 5.5 and 6.8. Days to maturity range from 100 to 140 days from seed, or 65 to 85 days from transplant. Black Beauty is the classic American variety. Ichiban produces long, slender Japanese-style fruit, while Rosa Bianca is a heat-tolerant Italian heirloom that handles humidity well in southeastern gardens. For container gardeners, Hansel and Patio Baby fit easily in 5-gallon pots. Common mistake: planting too early. Eggplant transplants, set into cold soil, never recover. Wait until soil hits 70 degrees consistently. Number 7. Zucchini and summer squash. If a summer garden produces nothing else, it almost always produces zucchini. Cucurbita pepo grows so prolifically in summer heat that it has become a national gardening joke, neighbors locking their car doors in August to avoid receiving more zucchini. The reality behind the joke: this crop is genuinely heat-loving, with optimal production between 70 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Direct seed after the last frost. Plants reach harvest in 45 to 55 days. Soil pH should be between 6 and 7.5. The single biggest mistake most gardeners make is letting fruit grow too large. Pick zucchini at 6 to 8 inches and yellow squash at similar size. Larger fruit is fibrous, low flavor, and signals the plant to stop producing. Black Beauty is the standard zucchini choice. Yellow crookneck and early prolific straightneck are reliable summer squash. For powdery mildew resistance critical in humid southern summers, Dunja and Sure Thing are strong choices. Number 6. Hot peppers. Here is where most gardeners make a critical mistake. Bell peppers begin failing at sustained temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Flowers drop, fruit doesn't set. The plant survives but stops producing. In Phoenix, Dallas, Houston, or Miami in July, bell peppers in full sun underperform reliably. Hot peppers are a different story entirely. Capsicum annuum and Capsicum chinense varieties, jalapeno, serrano, cayenne, habanero, Thai chili actually accelerate as the heat intensifies. Their flavor deepens. Their capsaicin levels increase. Their yield climbs through August. Soil pH should fall between 6 and 6.8. Days to maturity range from 65 to 90 days from transplant. For container gardeners, peppers thrive in 5-gallon pots. Best regional varieties. Early jalapeno for nationwide reliability. Anaheim and Hatch for the Southwest. Cayetano for cayenne lovers. And habanero for Florida and Gulf Coast gardeners. Number 5. Black-eyed peas. Stop. If you've watched this far and you've never grown black-eyed peas, this is the section that should change your garden. Vigna unguiculata, also called southern peas, cowpeas, or Crowder peas, is one of the most heat-adapted food crops in American agricultural history. Brought to the South in the 1700s and grown continuously since. This crop was bred by generations of Southern farmers specifically for the conditions that destroy everything else. Black-eyed peas thrive between 70 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. They tolerate poor soil. They survive drought that would kill beans, peas, or tomatoes. And they do something almost no other summer vegetable does. They fix nitrogen, actively improving the soil for whatever you plant next. Days to maturity, 60 to 90 from seed, depending on variety. California Black-Eye Number 5 is the standard. Pink-eye Purple Hull and Mississippi Silver are southern favorites with deep regional roots. And there's the cultural weight. Black-eyed peas are the centerpiece of Hoppin' John, the New Year's Day dish that stretches back generations across the American South. You're not just growing a vegetable, you're growing a tradition. Number 4. Sweet corn. There is no more iconic summer crop in this country than sweet corn. Zea maize need heat. Soil temperature must reach at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit before germination, and the plant grows fastest between 75 and 85 degrees. Days to maturity range from 65 to 90 depending on variety, with most sweet corn ready 70 to 80 days from planting. Pollination is the make or break stage. Corn is wind pollinated, which means it must be planted in blocks, not single rows for kernels to fill properly. A 4-foot by 4-foot block of 16 plants is the minimum for reliable pollination. Soil pH should fall between 6 and 6.8. Silver Queen remains a southern standard. Honey Select is sweeter and more heat tolerant. Bodacious is reliable across most climates. For short-season gardeners, early Sunglow matures in just 63 days. Common mistake. Not enough nitrogen. Corn is a heavy feeder. Side dress with nitrogen when plants reach knee-high, and again when tassels appear. Number 3. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are the single most heat-tolerant root crop available to the home gardener. Ipomoea batatas is a true tropical perennial, grown as an annual across most of the country. It thrives in temperatures between 65 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and according to growers in the Deep South, the more 100-degree days the plant gets, the better the harvest. In USDA zones 9 through 11, sweet potatoes can even grow as perennials. Plant from slips, never from seed, and never from grocery store potatoes, 3 to 4 weeks after the last frost, when soil temperature reaches 65 degrees consistently. Days to maturity, 90 to 120, depending on variety. Soil pH should fall between 5.5 and 6.5. Beauregard is the most widely grown variety in the country and a strong all-purpose choice. Georgia Jet matures fastest, useful for shorter season northern gardens. O. Henry is a cream-fleshed variety with excellent flavor. And here is the bonus most gardeners miss. The leaves are edible. Cooked like spinach, sweet potato greens are nutritious, productive, and available all summer from a single planting. Number 2. Okra. Okra has the strongest heat tolerance reputation of any vegetable grown in this country, and the reputation is earned. Abelmoschus esculentus is classified as heat tolerant, with optimal growth and productivity at temperatures around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. According to Clemson Cooperative Extension, it grows best between 75 and 90 degrees, with excellent production continuing into triple-digit heat. While most summer crops slow down in late July and August, okra accelerates. Plant when soil temperature reaches 70 degrees minimum. Days to maturity, 55 to 65, depending on variety. Soil pH between 6 and 6.8. Single plants can reach 4 to 6 feet tall. The critical practice is harvesting young pods at 3 to 4 inches. Older pods turn fibrous and inedible, and leaving them on the plant signals it to stop producing. Clemson Spineless is the gold standard, bred specifically by Clemson University and reliable from coast to coast. Emerald and Jambalaya perform exceptionally well in Texas and Gulf Coast heat. For container gardeners, Baby Bubba stays compact. Pair okra with peppers and basil for a heat-loving guild that thrives together. Avoid planting near squash or sweet potatoes. They compete for the same root space. Number 1. Watermelon, cantaloupe. And number 1 belongs to the crop that defines an American summer. Watermelon, Citrullus, Lenatus, and cantaloupe, Cucumis, Mellow, require heat the way few other plants do. According to the University of Maryland and multiple extension programs, these melons grow best between 70 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. They can handle short periods above 95, and unlike most crops, they actually need that heat to develop full sugar content. A cool summer produces bland melon. A hot one produces the sweetness that defines the season. Days to maturity, 75 to 95, depending on variety. Soil pH, between 6 and 6.8. These crops need space. Typical vines spread 8 to 12 feet, and they need consistent water during fruit development. Reduce watering as fruit reaches full size to concentrate sugar. Sugar Baby is the most reliable small-space watermelon. Crimson Sweet is the classic full-size choice. Charleston Gray performs well in southeastern humidity. For cantaloupe, Hale's Best, Jumbo, and Athena are American standards. There is no more emotionally American summer crop than watermelon. It's the picnic, the cookout, the front porch August afternoon. Grow it once successfully, and you'll grow it every year after. 15 vegetables, every one of them tested by real summer heat, every one of them backed by university extension research, every one of them ready to feed your garden when the heat refuses to back down. Here's the truth most gardeners learn the hard way. A great summer garden is not about fighting the heat. It's about choosing the plants that turn the heat into food. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 15 crops you're growing this summer and which one you're trying for the first time. If this video earned a spot on your gardening rotation, hit subscribe. We're building a community of gardeners who refuse to let summer beat them, and you belong here. I'll see you in the next one.